Hey guys, this is Zyra from the Willow Tree Schoolhouse and welcome back to my channel. Seriously you guys, I have to thank you all for the last video that I shared. You guys showed so much love and support. It is my most viewed video of all of my 8 videos. I reached 100 subscribers. Woo-hoo. No, seriously, I celebrate. I've never been afraid to celebrate the small milestones, and so I did celebrate with a Starbucks, you guys. So shout out to all of you guys. I couldn't have done it without you, so thank you. Now, what is today's video about? So today's video is all about my curriculum choices for my Millie. She is 4.5 years old. She is my transitional kindergarten. So what does that mean? It basically means that there's, in some areas she's still in preschool level, and then in other areas she's still in kindergarten level. So she's like in between, and that is okay. I think this is like also a friendly reminder that you shouldn't compare your child to other children. She's not behind, she or he is not behind anybody else's child. The whole purpose of homeschooling is to meet your child where they're at. I do have to share that because I do get a whole bunch of questions. Anyways, I'm going to make this video short and sweet and to the point, because that's what it should be around this age. Do not include fluff. Kids' attention span is short. Although we will love to do every single thing, it ends up not playing out like that. Sometimes I have to think outside the box, especially with my Millie, because with Aiden, that kid loved bookwork. But when it comes to my Millie, she cannot sit still for more than a minute. And so I have to be creative on how I approach learning with her. And so therefore I will let you guys know, and I will share how I do that. So let's start off with math. My Millie is using Essentials Math. I rip out the pages and I attach it to the clipboard. Now this is a one hack that's always worked for us. My kids hate looking at workbooks. My kids hate dragging the workbooks when we homeschool anywhere. And so attaching just a unit at a time to a clipboard works really well with us. And this clipboard is actually from the Dollar Tree. So I'm having her work her way into Essentials Math. There's 2 workbooks, Workbook A and Workbook B, and then we are going to continue on to Horizons Level K. This is actually book 1. I still need to get book 2. Aiden has used Horizons in the past, and then therefore I'm really excited because I really do think that I can approach it in Millie's learning style with being more hands-on. For phonics, we are using All About Reading Pre-Reading. I did a flip through in the past. I will share the link up here with you guys. This has worked really well with her, but I've noticed that in the last 4 to 5 weeks, letters have been clicking for her. Although she was showing interest for quite a while, she wasn't really retaining a lot of the letter sounds or names, and for the last 4 to 5 weeks, it has just completely clicked for her. So we are going to continue through this book. We've also been using, in accordance to that, the ABC See, Hear, and Do. This is seriously fun if you're trying to teach your child letters, sounds, and names, because all you do is based on movements. I bought this for Aiden when he was my kinder baby. I never used it with him because he just picked up the letter sounds really easily, but now I'm excited to apply this for my Millie, who's very creative and artistic. Now, this, you do not need to include it. If you're just using All About Reading Pre-Reading, you do not need to include this. I just owned it already because this is actually the program that I used with Aiden, and that's the Good and the Beautiful Pre-K program. This was their previous version. I know they just updated it and they made it more hands-on. Once we go through All About Reading Pre-Reading, we are going to start working through our workbook. I am not purchasing the newest version. I just feel like this version worked really well for Aiden, and so therefore I think it will work really well with my Millie, even though her learning style is a bit different than Aiden's. When we work on a letter, we also read to her a book designated for that letter. This is from the Alpha Tales series. A lot of these stuff I can link it below for you guys so you guys can see. where I got it from. And then when we're also working on letters, I have her work on our letter Play-Doh mats. I have purchased this from Teachers Pay Teachers back when we first began to homeschool and Aiden was learning his letters and letter sounds. Now, Aiden could care less about this back when I first purchased it, but my Millie, she loves Play-Doh, and so this is really fun for her. Now, given the fact that she's my creative child and her approach is a little bit more hands-on and she cannot sit still, she always has to be doing something, I actually went ahead and started including Let's Play School's ABC pack and their 1, 2, 3 pack. It just has worked really well for her. When we play through games, I just noticed that her retention is a lot better. Basically, you are given a whole bunch of games that you can apply to your lesson. So for example, I just grabbed the random envelope. So for example, this is the umbrella game with the raindrops, and then your child has to match them into the corresponding umbrella. So those packs are very engaging and they're actually really cute and fun. For handwriting, now we did just recently complete part 1 of doodles and pre-writing from the good and the beautiful. We are working with part 2. My Millie, that girl, we struggled with handwriting for a little bit because the part 1 was all lines. Actually, when I first purchased the part 1, I thought Millie was going to be completing that workbook pretty quickly because all it is lines. I just didn't realize that we really had to work on strengthening her gripping and making sure that she can control her hand movements a little bit better. So we did finish it. I started off with her when she was 3. We just recently finished it and she's 4.5. We are working with part 2 right now, and we're actually moving in pretty quickly. We completed like 20 pages already. And I'm also using my ABC Handwriting Binder. This is actually from my shop. You get a lot from this pack, you guys. I'll link it below. All it is are handwriting pages, and it is just basically to help my Millie strengthen those hand muscles and for her to actually know how to write letters, because that's the one thing that we are working on. That girl does not know how to write her letters just yet. Okay, now for extra. This is not necessary. These are just areas that I know I need to work on with my Millie. For example, her scissor skills. It has recently been brought to my attention that she cuts down instead of up, and so that's just something that we have to work on with her. This is just catered to her right now at her level. Also, notebooking. If you've been following me on Instagram, you've already seen this notebook. This is all catered to her, to what she needs to work on and what just practice and review basically. For example, if there's problems or a concept in her math that she needs extra practice with and she's not getting it from her worksheets, then I will make a fun notebook page out of it. Now we're working on getting her to actually write her name without any form of guidance, because usually I just have it her highlight. Also, just like whatever she cuts, I have her glue it in her notebook. Yeah, here's like her practicing to write her name. And so this notebook is just catered to her right now. I have one as well for my Aiden. And she is also going to be working on habits. What do I mean by that? So once every 2 weeks, or maybe once a month if we have to slowly get there, I will choose a habit that we need to work on together as a family to get her more independent. For example, I have noticed that my daughter loves to dress with her clothes inside out or backwards. And so we have to take the time to actually teach her how to put it on correctly. And so that's something that we'll be working on together as a family, and I'll be including it here in her notebook. And then every week we'll both sign off and we'll say, okay, did you do this? What are some areas that we need to work on? Was this hard for you? And so on and so forth. And I also bought her a simple sketch pad. This I include during her morning time. It's just for her to doodle away, no purpose. It's just for her to be creative. If she wants to use markers, she can. If she wants to paint, she can. I want her to still know that she has autonomy over her time and her education. And I've noticed that although she participates, she volunteers in joining us with our regular lessons, I don't expect her to. She's still at a young age where learning should be voluntary. Learning should be fun and creative. And so if she wants to participate in any of our lessons, she can. Normally when there's arts and crafts involved, she always participates. A lot of the concepts go over her head, but it's just getting her to be more engaged and creative. And then I noticed as well that as we're doing that, include the context of the project in itself, she is more aware what's happening and you'll retain that information. And that is it, you guys. That is all I'm doing with my Millie. There's no fluff included. Also, this opens up doorways to rabbit trails. If there's anything that my Millie is interested in, I can spend the time in chasing those rabbit trails. If I include a whole bunch of stuff into her core subjects, then we're not going to have time to chase those rabbit trails, and she's going to be exhausted and crabby and all that sorts of chaos that I right now with a baby I just cannot deal with. Let's be honest. This will be the first year where she will be participating in our family subjects, but I don't expect her to be full on sitting there the entire time, but just bits and pieces. And this summer we're going to work on slowly engaging her more, strengthening her attention span, and getting her to fully understand that although she does not need to participate, it would be nice for her to actually sit down with us and join us with the conversations, because that's another thing. Most of our lessons consist of conversations. I think she can join in on that. Alright guys, that is it. If you found this video to be at all beneficial, please subscribe, please like it, please comment below. If you guys want to see any flip throughs, let me know. And reach out to me, you guys. If you guys are not on here a lot, I'm always on Instagram. I'll link my account down below. I tend to share a whole bunch of day in the life on there. And I've actually saved previous highlights of toddler school and preschool and now kindergarten. And so if you guys want to look back and just get ideas on how I approached those early years, I encourage it, you guys. I will end my video there so I won't prolong it. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your week. Stay healthy, stay blessed. Thank you for being involved in this journey with me.